Hi, I'm Tony Wagner from Daddio, and this is Waupaca Local Live.
Welcome to Waupaca Local Live. This is the Thursday Night Music Club. I'm Marcy Boku. I am from the Waupaca Community Arts Board. We're really excited to be here tonight for our second installment of the club. I just want to, I forgot to bring the card. So the Thursday Night Music Club, in a nutshell, what it is it's Waupaca Local Live's show plus a post-show gig. Right now we're partnering with the Grand National Lounge, which is on Union Street. And so what you get to do is you get to come to the show here in the studio, be with the musicians, see how it's all done, then go to the Grand National Lounge, have a cocktail, and get another 90 minutes full of music. So it's really awesome. We are going to be awarding a fabulous prize to the person who goes to the most shows. We don't know what that prize is yet, but it will be fabulous. It might be a new car. All right, so I'm Marcy Beaucoup, as I said, and I'm happy to be here with Daddio. This is Daddio. 3/4 of Daddio,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yes indeed.
All right, and I'm excited because they actually have a CD, which I think you might be able to pick up at the lounge tonight.
Yes.
Correct?
Yep.
Yes. And we're going to talk down and dirty with these guys tonight. And I guess I'd like to just start right off with that first song, because that was an original song, correct?
Correct.
And it really had a catchy melody to it. It's going to stick in my head. That's awesome.
Good.
So can I just ask, who is the songwriter, or is it a collaborative thing?
I happened to write that one.
You wrote that one. Okay, so let's just do introductions. That's what we should do first. We got Tony Wagner on drums,
Correct.
right?
Bongos right now.
Bongos right now. Usually you play a full kit, right?
Yep.
We've got Scott on guitar.
Scott Dirks.
Dirks. And we've got Tom Waupaca.
Tom Waupaca,
And I guess, really, before we talk music, I just wanted to know, did everybody go to West?
Appleton West.
Appleton
indeed.
West.
All three of us.
Yes.
All three of you?
Not at the same time.
But not at the same time, but we all went in the hallowed halls.
Yep.
Isn't that awesome? Because I did too. Yeah, that's really cool. Okay. All right, got that out of the way. All right, so you wrote this song, and are you writing a lot of songs? Is that something that you're really into?
I write quite a bit, but I would like the focus to be as much as possible in the collaborative. So we've got a lot of things where I might bring in a sketch or something, and then the band fleshes it out.
Okay.
We have a tune of Tom's that I put a little something in that
Okay.
wasn't. I mean, so it's nice when it's a collaborative thing. This one was called Tom, and it's not it's not named for my good friend Tom Waupaca. It's it has a Brazilian feel.
Right.
And probably the most famous Brazilian composer that people in the United States know is Antonio Carlos Jobim. And in the United States, that's how he's known, Antonio Carlos Jobim. But in Brazil, they call him Tom.
Oh, okay. So this is an homage to him.
So
in other words.
thank you very much.
Okay.
It's an homage
All right.
to.
It was great. It was a great
Antonio.
song.
Thank
and
you.
so on your CD, do you have mostly original songs on the CD? Or do you do some covers? Did you need to look?
There's both.
No, there's a combination of both.
Combination of both. Okay. All right. So
And this was actually done. The CD was done live.
Okay.
So there's no. It's not fixed. It's not a studio recording. It was done live at a place in Scandinavia, Wisconsin.
sure.
Called
Odin
Odin Frias.
Right. That's a really
And
great
so
music
we
group.
would love to.
Shout
yeah.
out to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was, when did you do this? Was it September
September.
29th, 2023 at Odin Frias Place. So that's awesome.
And Tom just had his recorder and recorded a live show. So some of that.
So with jazz, and instrumental jazz, I guess I'd have to say, is it easier? I mean, obviously it's easier to record that way if you want to get a vibe and it's going well. You can just bring a recorder in. You don't have to worry about overdubbing or anything. Is that normally how you guys record jazz, or is there more to it?
That's how we've recorded
Okay.
in this band. But I mean, we've all made records. We've all been in the studio.
Right.
many
So a little both, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it depends upon the song and what you're trying to achieve. And with this project, we wanted to get something recorded, get it out there for the people, because we're a fairly new band.
Right.
So we want to get something in front of people, something that we can sell at the concerts. We were playing festivals and that, so we'd like to be able to have some product.
So how long have you guys been playing as a group, as Daddio?
Just over a year.
Yeah.
Just over a year.
Yeah.
Wow. And you're getting gigs?
Yeah, the gigs are starting to come in more and more, and we've had some tremendous gigs in our first year of existence. We've played at the festival in Menasha,
Fox
Jazz Fest, and we
Stevens
also
Point.
played at the Stevens Point Fest, and we're going to be playing at a festival in Waupaca
That's
here.
right, yeah.
A new one.
You know, tomorrow, actually, that's going to go live. Well, we're talking Thursday night, but we are going to be announcing a jazz festival here in Waupaca. So Daddio is going to be playing at that festival. It's going to be taking place at the casino, the Wheelhouse, in Clearwater Harbor.
Correct.
And Tony, as well as being in Daddio and other bands, which we'll talk about, he's also part of our arts board and has helped us kind of create that in our Summer Nights series. So a lot of music. And I just wanted to mention, as you guys are sitting here chatting, you know, I'm sitting out there, you know, doing my little paperwork, and I'm listening to what you're talking about. Guess what they're talking about? They're talking about music. They're talking about songs. Oh, there's a really cool bridge in this song. So I think you guys just like live and breathe music, and that's really my first question I wanted to ask each of you individually. So you were probably playing music in high school. I mean, I know you were. Did you play music your entire life leading up to now, or were there any gaps? And have you used it as any part of your career? I'll start with you, Tony.
Well, I sleep once in a while.
Do you sleep once in a while? You play a lot. You play in
Yeah.
a lot of bands. Tell me all the bands you play in.
Oh, well,
Currently.
I'm playing with Daddio. I also play with Mojo and
Mojo and
Flipside. I am playing with the Kelly Jackson Band, who's going to
Okay.
be here in Waupaca. And then there's a new group, which is a kind of a reformation of a blues group called the J. Edward Band, which is going to be debuting quite soon. I have worked quite a bunch with a guy from Milwaukee, one of the big old-time blues guys, Alex Wilson.
Right.
Not playing that much with him anymore. I played this last summer and will be playing again a few gigs this summer with the Brazilian jazz group Vivo out of Milwaukee, too.
Okay.
So I stay busy.
You are very busy, but you do have some tighter, more like local bands that you play with. It's like you are a face in them, but then you play in other groups.
Right.
That's how I view you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. So, would you say music is your career? I know you had another career as a teacher.
Yeah, I mean, music has been what I've been doing my entire life. Even when I was teaching, I was still involved with playing all the time. It was like the teaching subsidized my playing career for a while, because you have to be creative if you're a musician in terms of earning an income, because you're not always playing gigs. So
Right.
some people give lessons. Some people have recording studios, and some people have other jobs that they're involved with.
But it's nice. It's all connected in some way to the creative force, right?
Yep.
What about you, Scott? Well, how many combos do you play with? You sit in with a lot of people, don't you?
Yep.
Everybody wants you to
I
play.
do. I'm a freelance guitar player, and
Okay.
so I work with whoever calls me, and then have select projects where you actually can put a little bit more of I get a little more say.
Yeah, I love how jazz musicians call it projects. Woo! All right,
Well,
I'm just teasing.
That's kind of the current term.
I know, I hear it.
Bands,
It's
we have
just so
projects.
funny. All right, so you're playing primarily then your biggest
and I've played,
project
and
is
I've
Daddio?
yeah.
Okay.
And I've been playing continuously. That's how I made my living since I was in high school.
That's what I thought. And you went to the Twin Cities,
Played for 20 years in the Twin Cities.
and then you came back to the Valley.
Yeah.
All right.
And in the Twin Cities, I was only playing funk and R&B.
Oh,
So
Okay.
that's mainly what I was playing.
okay.
If I got a jazz gig in the Twin Cities, it was something that I booked, and I
Okay.
would put it back. But I wasn't getting calls for jazz gigs, per se.
Yeah.
There's a lot of funk and R&B,
There's a
and
lot
then
of-
around here,
right.
there's no funk and R&B.
Right,
So-
but that makes sense. I mean, I have kids that live up there, and I totally get that.
Oh yeah, well,
It's
Prince
fun.
is from there.
Right, Prince. Prince. What about you, Tom?
All the bands?
Well, okay, I want to know, first of all, have you been playing music this whole time, or did you just pick it up again? Have you been playing since high school?
My mother was a piano player. I started taking lessons with her
Okay.
when I was 9. Picked up saxophone in 8th grade,
Uh-huh.
and I've been playing ever since, yeah.
Ever
I've had a couple of what we refer to as day gigs, non-music gigs.
Okay.
Had some factory gigs in the early years, drove school bus for a while. But yeah, this is what I do.
This is what you do.
Yeah.
All right, and which projects are you on,
Well, this band,
this band?
and then I also will play. My wife is a vocalist.
And what's her name, by the way?
Janet Planet.
Janet something, yeah. Janet Planet.
And then
So
I
you're
also
playing
play
pretty
with
seriously.
the dear friend who I've known for many, many years, John Harmon. I will play with
Okay.
him once a month. But I want to back up a little bit.
Sure.
So this is a relatively recent group
Right.
with for me and these folks. But I've shared a bandstand with Tony for 45 years.
Right,
Bandstand with Scott for 40 years.
yeah.
So collectively, we've been playing together for a long, long time.
Right. There's a lot of history there and a lot of
yeah.
shared experience, which makes it
Yeah.
much better to play together because your energy is accentuated by that. That's my opinion. So yeah, I mean, it's not like you're all sitting here with charts playing that song, but it's like you've played that music in a number of ways. So awesome.
Yeah.
All right. So you know what? I would like to hear another song.
Okay.
Summertime.
Remember?
Summertime.
Summertime.
Yeah.
George
All right.
Gershwin tune.
George Gershwin tune. All right, everybody, Daddio.
Thank
Thank you.
Waupaca Local Live, welcome back. We have a really great studio audience tonight, and
Yeah,
that
we
was,
do.
you know, that is a song that, well, you hear it all the time, but I really like that version of it. Maybe the sparseness, I don't know. It's really
Well,
good.
it's interesting because normally we're a quartet, right?
Right.
And we're playing as a trio, so we don't have the bass player, Charlie, who's in Florida. The reason why he's not here tonight.
Right.
And so we have to rethink how we're doing things, and especially for me, because this isn't a song that we normally do in Daddio, but Tom and Scott have played this. I know the song, and I'm kind of like, okay, what can I play that fits in here? And it's fun because you could hear the
Yeah.
interaction. And
That's what I heard anyway.
Yeah.
I don't know about you guys out there, but it's just, it's nice. And even though the bass wasn't here, and this isn't anything about the bass player, but you were playing a lot of bass.
Yeah.
So that
Today,
today,
and I'll do that later.
Yeah.
So I'm
Yeah.
I'm double
So-
duty. I'm taking over
Right.
Charlie's gig.
So I guess I feel like with jazz, and I'm not a musicologist, but I am a musician, but I just feel like there's a lot of flexibility with jazz. You know, you kind of take what you have and you work with it. You don't say, oh, we can't play that because of this or whatever.
Right.
That's what I've seen
What-
and heard, which I think is a really neat feature. You have to be able to flow and be flexible. Is that
The
how
flow,
you look at it?
the thing that makes this band special and almost unique in this area is we've got the biggest ears in Wisconsin, sitting right up here, and with Charlie too. We are always listening, and it's
Yeah.
always interactive.
Yeah.
If I'm not responding to what he's playing, I may as well go home. I mean, every time we play, it's interactive. Each time we play,
Yeah.
like you said, there's not very few groups that can honestly say that, where we literally could play every tune we play in a totally different manner and still have it be musical because we would make
Yeah.
it so.
Do you think that jazz lends itself to that more than other genres, though?
Improvisational music. I mean,
Right.
I've been playing improvisational music my whole life. It started as rock and roll. It started with blues and rock. And then I just kept playing and got better and better. And long before I ever said I played jazz, everybody else was telling me I was a jazz player.
Okay. You just didn't know it.
Well, you get better and better,
Yeah.
and after a while, people think, "Oh, I don't like that anymore. You must be a jazz." I loved you when you were a blues player. You were great back then.
One thing I wanted to talk about, talking about regional music, that you guys are unique in the area. It seems like Wisconsin has become more organized and more respectful of music, and I'm not talking about the business and the pay, but I feel like the whole advent of Whammy and just the regional coming together of musicians is something that's a new phenomena. Maybe I'm out of it, but maybe in the last 10 years, what do you guys think about that? Because what I'm getting at is, when we were growing up, music seemed to be something that was out here. We didn't have the internet. People couldn't all be musicians that recorded. But now that that's sort of broken up, I feel like that's a benefit. And I just wanted to get your feedback on that, how you guys think about that.
Well, I think one of the things that has changed a lot, and I was having this conversation last night, is when we went through the whole COVID thing, and all of a sudden there weren't gigs to play, so there's like doing things like this.
Right.
That's how this started, and so there's a lot of people that are trying to navigate the business, combining these kinds of concepts
Yeah.
with playing gigs, and once things started opening and people started playing more, everybody was trying to play. So there is a resurgence in energy in music in general, I think.
And in live music.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, do you feel that too, Tom? Do you feel
Well,
like
Wisconsin in general, I think, is very, very rich in music, right?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of musicians. The tradition here is pretty amazing.
And in the Fox Valley.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's building. And I don't know,
Well,
I don't have anything to base that on, but that's what
And
it
it's
feels
been
like.
this way for all. But when I went to the Twin Cities and told people I was from Appleton, they all thought I was a hick. And I was telling people I was playing with people just as good as anybody up here back in Appleton, and they didn't think I was serious, but I was dead serious. You know, there are some great players up there, obviously.
Yeah.
You know, but there's some great players around here too.
Right, and that's what we see. I'm just really impressed with it, and I kind of feel like you guys are riding that wave. You're kind of the leaders of the music scene. You're always, you know, every time you see a concert, especially more of a regional or a higher level concert, one of you guys is in the band, and so that's, you know, it's like a leadership thing that you're doing, which that's how I feel about it. Anyway, that's
are
Thank
the
you.
old
That's very
guys.
nice of you.
the
to
old
say.
men, the
We're
old men,
pioneers.
the
The
pioneers.
jazz pioneers.
All right. And yet, you know, you'll play in these little places like Odin and Frias in Scandinavia, and then it affects Odin and Frias in Scandinavia. You're playing at all these different places, and then they start to bring in more music. So that's why I feel like it's a leadership thing. You know, you're bringing it because you want to do it. You're not really saying, well, we got to get $3,000, but you want to play. And that's so important to making music come back, I think.
And it's all about finding the right places, the right fit for the type of music that you're doing, and creating an audience base that wants to hear you. And that's what we are doing, and it's working. It takes a while to do that,
Yeah.
though. And we're babies in terms of how the age of the band itself. so.
Yeah.
All right, the band is Daddio. They do have CDs. You can pick them up. Where can we get these besides tonight at the club?
Well, I know that they have them at the bookstore here in Waupaca.
Okay, the bookseller downtown Waupaca.
Right.
And you guys always carry them with you when you
We
play.
do,
Okay.
yep.
Let's hear another song from you guys. What are you going to
Okay.
play next?
Imagine.
Imagine, yeah.
Imagine.
And who's this by?
John Lennon, possibly.
Maybe? Oh, that
Everybody
Imagine.
know who John Lennon is?
All right, Waupaca Local Live, Daddio playing Imagine. You guys like that? Did you guys like that? I mean, don't you feel like we just had a spa treatment? Honestly. And I just want to I mean, both you guys, all you guys, but that the way you play the saxophone is just kind of like you think it's going to be this loud sound, but it's this soft sound.
It can be both.
Yeah, but I like the soft.
Well,
I like that.
I can crank it.
No, but I know that it can be both, but
the-
you know, we don't often get to experience the softness.
Right.
And in a room where we're really basically unplugged, it's like you're kind of like I felt like I was in the bathtub with candles. You know,
Well,
it's
that's
awesome.
one of the beauties of Odin and Frias is
Yeah.
that it can.
Yeah.
The crowd is such a listening crowd.
Yeah.
It can be
Right.
silent, and when it's silent, you can play down to a whisper, and the
Yeah.
din of the crowd is not ruining your dynamic level. And then you can get loud and you can get soft, and the amount of emotion you can put into that is so much more when you're not fighting, and it's. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
in that
Right.
dynamic level.
You're trying to get heard versus you're being heard.
Right, and
Yeah.
just nothing is more seductive than the whisper in the ear when you get super quiet.
Yeah.
I mean, if people are engaged, they're gonna
lean in.
right, and if they're not engaged, well, then I'm enjoying what I'm doing.
Well, not to mention that that's a good song, right?
Right.
Well,
Right, and I just think it was so wonderfully done, and I think,
Yeah.
you know, that's the beauty of a really well-written song.
It is.
Is that you can give it a different life. So, you know, I wanted to ask just a couple more questions in our last interview segment.
Okay.
So, if you don't mind, I'm always curious to find out from people, you know, and I'm going to ask you all individually, not as Daddio, unless it was, but what was your best gig and what was your worst gig?
Start with someone. No, start.
No, start with someone else. Best gig, and if you don't want to say your worst gig, that's okay. But what was your best? And best could be defined in many ways. I mean, some people would say my best gig is this because I got $10,000, or my best gig was this because everybody listened and I felt like I was communing with the audience, or whatever. What made it your best gig? You want to start?
You know, I've never been asked that question before.
Really?
That's a good one.
Yeah.
It's so, you know, it's difficult to answer because
It is hard to answer.
and 50 years of thousands
so
of gigs.
many of the gigs, you
Yeah.
know, I want to say, in a sense, they're all my best gigs.
Ah, good answer.
And then, in a sense, you know, perhaps not so much. I don't know about the worst gigs. I don't really measure it like that. I have a difficult time.
So you never showed up and they were like, "What are you doing here?" And they're throwing tomatoes at you.
Well, okay.
Like Blues Brothers, I'm talking about.
When,
Did you ever have that?
When we play what I refer to as wallflower gigs, in other words, background music, that's
Yeah.
a little difficult.
Yeah.
That people aren't listening. Or playing a wedding gig where we have to show up early. We have to come in the basement, go through the kitchen, go through the laundry room, up the elevator. You know,
Yeah.
sometimes those gigs are a little trying.
And then they're wondering why you're not playing a polka.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Yeah.
that too.
What about you? Do you have anything that stands out as like that was my best gig or like my favorite thing?
I played for a half a dozen people while they died.
Oh my gosh. All of them died?
Not everyone who I've played for has died, but I've been called.
Oh, I thought you meant a half a dozen people died.
No. I've played while
It's like
people,
a mass thing.
No.
Like, that's not cool,
No,
Scott.
no, I didn't kill anybody with my playing. I mean, and if I would have, they would have gone faster than I ended up playing a long time waiting for some of these people to go, including my father.
So you
And so
played
there's-
for people as they've died, and that's so
And
that's
doing,
interesting.
I mean, I've
Yeah.
been doing this a long time, and I've done many gigs, and I play for tens of thousands of people. But at the end of the day, there's a reason I'm on this earth, to play music. And there's a reason there's music, and it's to heal people and to soothe people and to be. So I mean, yeah, it's great when you're up there and 10,000 people are screaming for you. But when you can give up yourself and the gift that you were given to heal not only the person as they're passing, but everybody who's there.
Okay.
I mean,
These are some heavy answers, you guys.
well, I mean,
Wow.
and that's and the
That's
chances you're going to
awesome.
find a musician that I'm probably the one in a million who's going to tell you, you remember my best gig, they died.
Yeah.
You know, that's usually not but the profoundness of being
Okay.
a musician and
Being able to share that.
yes.
Yeah.
So
Well, I'll take. I thought about this, and I'll start off with the worst gigs because
Okay.
there's
Okay.
two that come to mind, and I was just talking about one of them. I think it was yesterday, but when I was playing with Street Life, we were hired by the Miller Corporation
Right.
to play 2 concerts, and we were opening up for Bill Cosby at the time. Back when he was popular, right? And
This sounds like a loaded answer.
no, it's not a loaded answer, but what happened is we were supposed to play an hour, and the very first time we were all excited when we were traveling out to Palm Springs, California, and down to Florida to do these 2 shows. It was a great paying gig, and we played, and we were in the middle of like our 3rd song, and they had seated the elderly person from Miller right in front of the speakers. So on like our 3rd song, when we were having a great time, I see the cut sign from the side from the woman that put this together, and we had to stop playing because of that. And we had traveled all that distance, and we felt totally defeated
Yeah.
for that time. So that was one. The other one was a very similar situation when I was playing with the band Matrix. And we
yeah.
were struggling, and we had landed a 2-week show in East Lansing at a club. And it was almost kind of the same kind of ending. We had 2 weeks right before Christmas. We would have money to buy presents for our friends and family. And after the first night, which we thought went quite well, the club owner came up and said, "You're not our thing. Here's $500. We'll see you."
were you on that gig in Menominee where they hired us as a heavy metal band with Nirvana?
I don't
Kevin
think so.
Allen came up and was paid bass for us one night.
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
Oh my
But
gosh. Well,
the-
what about a good
yeah,
gig?
a
You
good
did you
one.
have a
Okay,
good gig?
those were. I mean, because those 2 stuck out as bad
Yeah,
things.
those
But
are bad.
in answering the question about a good gig, and I've had lots of them, and I've been fortunate enough to play in front of thousands of people, and it's like playing the first time that we played at the Bucks Arena for 18,000 screaming fans was amazing. But I can honestly say that I enjoy the smaller venues the most.
Okay. Kind of, you guys are all kind of speaking from the same,
Yep.
Yeah, and I really appreciate that, and I love that about
Well-
you guys. Thank you.
There's a reason the band is the band.
Yeah, very heartfelt. All right, what's our last song going to be?
Oh,
You don't know?
You Don't Know What Love Is. Okay. Let's have one more round of applause for Daddio.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Thank you, guys. Thanks to our producers and our winter staff. See you next month on Waupaca Local Live.
Thanks for coming.